afternoon, Stitch Roadies. Thanks for stopping by. I really needed the company today. Let me give you a weather report. So it is kind of a mixed bag, but that is kind of Oregon. For those of you that are not living in Oregon, that is kind of our weather pattern. Is you just wait 10 minutes and it'll change. There have been so many reports about weather, scary weather in different parts of the country. I mean, I saw some news this morning about Yellowstone, people trapped in Yellowstone National Park, and we have flooding here. The river was high, and it is expected to get higher. So there are people who live along the river, especially on the Washington side, because the Columbia and the Willamette, the Columbia kind of divides the two states, and so there is some flooding that's going on there. I mean, the water's so high that further down on the Willamette River, there was one section that had sewage overflow. Yuck. They said, don't go in the river. You don't have to tell me twice. Yeah. So life has been complicated lately, but we are making our way forward. I was talking to a bestie, and I said, well, our tell, that sign that you're in trouble emotionally is, for me, I don't know, for all of you, and many of you in the last 3 years have gone through much loss and suffering, but my tell when I know that I'm in trouble is if I'm not stitching. Well, there goes the National Guard jet. Beautiful. Yeah, so that's my tell. I can, as many of you also get depressed and spend a lot of time crying and ruminate, make your anxiety, and you're just spinning your wheels. But as long as I'm still stitching, I take it as, okay, this is going to pass. This is going to pass. So I think my husband knows that if I stop stitching, then he better pay attention to what the heck's going on. Yeah, so I have been doing a lot of stitching. Yeah, and gosh, isn't it just, it's a lifesaver in a lot of ways. Yeah. I've been not concentrating on any one thing, so I've been jumping around, and I'm going to need your help. So two projects that I finished are out being framed. One is Gobble, and that is at Acorns and Threads. If you do not know, Acorns and Threads does do framing, which is great because they have, that that they're really, they're a cross-stitch shop, so the framing is going to be awesome. And then the other one is at a craft store, and I've developed a relationship with that craft store and the person there, and they've done a fabulous job. They're the ones that framed my beehive piece, and so I took Ida and Ira, or Anna and G, as I like to call them, which it was my anniversary start from 2 or 3 years ago, and it's done. I just love it. In fact, the framer, he kept going, oh, I just love crow people. And then if another coworker came by, he would go, "Oh, crow people. Look at these crow people." Yeah, so sometimes a stitch can bring a smile to your face and lift your heart, and that's what I've needed lately. I have been working, still I'm behind now, but I have been working on May, a prairie year, and I'm going to list, I'm only, you know, the two hashtags that I'm involved in, I think, are the hashtag Barb's Prairie Year Sal, and then my own hashtag, which I hope all of you will use. It's hashtag Love My Stitch Sal, and I'll put the spelling and actually how it's on Instagram. It's fun for me to look. That particular Sal has been a lifesaver, or an emotional saver, I should say, because when you all post to that Sal, you know, it doesn't have any rules. It can be anything that you're stitching on. It doesn't have to be like a specific project. So whatever you're stitching on that you love at the moment, that's the hashtag for that. And that's our Sal. That's all of our Sal. And I like seeing what everybody is working on because it is inspiring and enabling. So I will put both of those hashtags in the description box, so you can also, maybe you want to do a prairie year also with Barb, Lost and Floss, and then whatever stitch you love. Yeah. So what I found though about the May, if I'm scattered, I'm just scattered. What can I say? I have no excuse for it. I have no apologies for it. Right now, everything is kind of scattered. But I'm working on May, and I just love this basket. I just love this basket. But what's interesting is how confetti. This thing is confetti heavy. Boy. And so the flower part has taken me, and yes, I have not cut the fabric so we can see how many fit on this giant piece of fabric. It's so funny. It is so funny. Look at it, a piece of thread even. So I've been working on that off and on the last couple of days. I also have been working on the trees. I know. And you know what's made all the difference? The Morgan hoop. I am telling you, everybody has their own system that helps them stitch. So whether it be Q-snaps, whether it be the Elon frame, the wooden hoops, the fancy wooden hoops, the cheap wooden hoops, or I should say the affordable wooden hoops, I have stumbled upon the Morgan locking hoop because of my friend Trina at the Cotton Harvest in Ontario, Canada. She carries the Morgan hoops and the full line of Cosmo embroidery thread, but she also carries wool, which is my other love. So when she sent me the Morgan hoop to try, I had no idea what a game changer it would be. And the reason, I'm just going to give you my reasoning for loving that hoop, is it's a locking hoop. So whatever you put in it and however tight you want it to be or loose you want it to be, it is going to stay. And it's lightweight. It's not bulky or big. And so where I was having trouble with the other types of the Q-snap was like too big for my hand. I have normal size hands, but it caused me to grip in a different way. And the Morgan hoop has been a huge game changer, not only just as I'm going forward in my cross stitching, but in past projects. So you ask, why haven't I seen the trees? It's because I was an in-hand stitcher. And with these big projects, it is a struggle. And what I found was that with the Morgan hoop, I could, now see, I've loosened this one. What I do is when I'm done stitching, I don't take the hoop all the way off. I just loosen it up and pop it apart. And then it's, oh, there's G coming. I hear him. He went out for a little roadster drive. So, so with the Morgan hoop, when I decided, hey, I should try the Morgan hoop with my trees, all of a sudden I couldn't stop stitching on them. And the reason being is it was so comfortable. And I didn't have to hold all this fabric because I'm an in-hand stitcher. So between the Morgan hoop, I finished this whole tree, the deer here, and have started on the next tree. Now the tree after that is one of those, those big confetti heavy. I will show you. I will show you what I'm talking about, because if I just show you one part of it, I left the other part of the pattern I was working on. Let's see. So just to give you an idea, whenever I get to a tree like that, and there are some big ones, it just takes a while to get them done. It takes a while to get them done. But the good thing is, if you're off a little bit, it does not matter. No one's going to be able to tell if you're off. So between the Morgan hoop and these thingamajigs that Audrey Stitchy Witch gave me, which was these magnetic little rubber things, and I don't know the name of them. I don't know anything about them. If you want to ask for specifics or the link to where she got them on Amazon, or what they're actually called, because I call them thingamajigs, go to Stitchy Witch 42 in her floss tube, and just in the comments ask her, where are those thingamajigs that you gave Anna? So I just roll up the fabric against the hoop, and it's lightweight, and then I'm stitching away. This hoop has been a game changer, and I'm so grateful. Let's see, what did I do with everything? Everything's like all over the place. So with this big piece, I'm using a smaller hoop with that big piece of fabric, and I just loosen, when I'm done stitching them, I just loosen them every night. And Trina sent me, let me go get it. It's, sorry for the, let's see, oh, there it is, right there. So, the Cotton Harvest actually has a lap stand. So this is a Morgan hoop lap stand, and I cannot wait to give this a try. I just think it's so cool. Yeah, I can't wait to give it a try. So if you're interested, I know there's people that have said that they can find them wherever, but the Cotton Harvest quilt shop in Seaforth, Ontario, Canada, she has them. No slip feature. See, that's what I like. No matter how tight or loose I want them, once I put it in, it doesn't move. And when I'm done stitching, I just pop it loose again. And if I know that I'm going to stitch the next day, I just leave it there until the next day. This says portable, collapsible, easy to assemble and disassemble. Hoops can be used individually. Oh, so you don't even have to use them together. As a lap stand, you can use them by themselves. So that's, I'm like so excited. It's I'm looking at these Morgan hoops kind of like we look at needle minders or scissors. It's like you need one in every, they're reasonably priced. So to have several and leave them in project bags, to me, when you're going on a trip, would be amazing to be that convenient. So what else have I been doing? We were on a camping trip that was cut short by a loss in our family, and so I brought back home with me what I took on the camping trip was the Keeper of the Pins. And I just fell in love with this when I saw Kindred Stitcher and Textstylust both have turned me on to this. And so I have done, I only have one more left. There are five charts in this book. And this is the kind of book that you do want to own, because those 5 charts would make awesome gifts, like hostess gifts or exchanges. Now, the ones I'm doing right now are for myself, but I just want to display them exactly like this in a bowl all together. So you're gonna wanna own this book and like keep it. I got mine at Acorns and Threads, and I know that there's that they've been ordering them left and right for people who have wanted them. So I have one more chart to go, and I'll be done with all 5 of them. So there's 2. I've been doing them all on the same piece of fabric, and this fabric I got at Acorns and Threads was Edinburgh linen 36 count vintage country mocha. And so it's going to fit. This is the last one that I worked on. And that her needle is 1/1. It was so cool to do. It was so cool to do. But I liked each and every one of these. So the one I have left is that bird, the bird pincushion. They don't take a long time. They do not take a long time. And then it looks like I'm going to have half of my linen still left. So those are the 3 projects that I have been going to town on. So I know that I am not totally off my rocker, because I'm still stitching. And then today, my friend Sandy had given me this crow calendar, and every month there's a notation about what the full moon is. And this month, actually today, I don't know if you'll see this video today or tomorrow, but it was the full strawberry moon. And the weather person this morning was talking about how close the moon is and how beautiful and big that you could see all the craters. And for us, it's kind of hit and miss because we have so many clouds. We have so many clouds. They're just beautiful. It's hard to complain about the clouds. Today they're big, white, fluffy. You just know they taste like marshmallows. Yeah. But because it was the full strawberry moon, I decided I needed to work on a berry. And I remembered I had started one, but I had stopped for a specific reason. The fabric was that week's, it feels like that week's floppy fabric, linen, and it was hard to make sure you were counting right. And then I had an aha moment yesterday, and I said, I can use the Morgan hoop and really lock the fabric in to make the grid on the linen, because I think this is 36 count. Yeah, 36 count. 35 count cocoa linen from Weeks Dye Works. Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. And so the Morgan hoop and Audrey Stitchy Witch 42's thingamajigs that she gave me have really made this much more pleasurable to stitch on. And that's, I think, the key, is whatever you decide is pleasurable for you to stitch. And that means that your shoulder, your neck, your wrist, your hands, your thumb, all those things that we need to actually make a cross stitch are not aching. That's the kind of setup you want. And it could be, it could be the Q-snap, it could be whatever, but for me it was this locking Morgan hoop. And so I got back into my strawberry partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, so I'm working on that. So I'm going to loosen this now. See, this is how I do it. I just loosen the nut. I leave the thingamajigs on there, and I just pop the outside ring off, so I don't have to deal with a permanent crease in the fabric. Although I haven't had problems with that because I use the soap company's product called Flatter, and it is not a starch, it's a fabric relaxer. And so I spray all around and then press where the crease are, and they disappear because it relaxes the fabric, and it's called Flatter. Yeah, and I got that at the Stitching Post in Sisters. Yeah, so this has been, that's awesome. So that's what I've been up to the last few days. Yeah, I've been listening to The Chemist, which I did not realize that is Stephanie Meyer. That is the author who wrote the Twilight series. And I have to tell you, it wasn't, I mean, I read the first one, but it was just a little, much for me. It wasn't my favorite read, and so I never read any of the others. But because I didn't know that the author of this book was the author of the Twilight series, I started reading it and got hooked. But now I see, I'm almost towards the end, like I'm in the last fourth of the book. It has that same flavor as the Twilight. This, like, you can't believe that's really, you know. Some of you will love it. Some of you will love it, and she is a good writer. But if you didn't like the Twilight series, you might not like this book. But I enjoyed the first half of it a lot, just because I wanted to know what was going on. But this last half, where there's the romance and the some of it's just absurd, It's yeah, my I like documentaries and I like nonfiction books, so this is a little bit edgy for me. It's it's different. But isn't that the great thing about books, is that there's always something that we all are going to enjoy. So for those of you who really enjoyed the Twilight series, you might really enjoy this, because it did capture me right at the get-go, trying to figure out what was going on. I am realizing that I need a new start. I don't have a new start marked in the month of June, and I want a new start. But given what's going on within our family, and my son's going to be moving. He's in the process of trying to sell his home. The grandchildren are keeping us busy, which we absolutely love. We have every birthday in our family practically happening this month. And then there's Father's Day, and what else? Yeah, and then people we've lost their birthdays. My mother's birthday was this month. It's just a lot this month. Just a lot. That I want a new start. I can't seem to make a decision. So I'm going to let you make the decision for me. Yeah, I'm going to show you two charts, and I love them both. So I don't really care which one I start. I just don't want to pick. So you are going to pick for me. So the first one is Heartstring Samplery. Kind Words Never Die. So this is that chart. Kind Words Never Die. And then the second one is a Silver Creek Samplers chart. And it's Follow Your Heart, but take your stitching with you. And I love them both. I love them both. So if you could put in the comments down below, and I have the threads, so I just have to pull the fabric. I have the threads for both of them. So if you could just put in the comments Heartstring Samplery or Silver Creek Samplers, and just help me decide. Just help me decide. And I'd sure appreciate if you'd subscribe. Yeah, I love that I have virtual friends and support out there, and I hope that I provide you company. Yeah. Well, take care. Thank you for stopping by. I hope the weather is okay where you're at, and that you don't have to drive a whole lot, because boy, that's all that's in the news right now is the gas prices. Holy moly. Yeah, so just stay home and stitch. Just stay home and stitch. Thank you for stopping by. Love you guys. You all take care, okay?